I went on the Belize Immersion. Obviously, we went to Belize, and we also went to Guatemala, so we got to meet and learn a lot about ancient Mayan culture and also modern Mayan culture, also mestizo culture and Guatemalan culture. Mestizos people are Latino people who have Native American or indigenous people blood in them as well. And that was awesome. I really like learning about new cultures. That's just something that I'm really interested in. So yeah, I got to take away that, first of all, just the stories of other people. And I like people that I would never have met if it weren't for this immersion. I never would have crossed paths with them if it wasn't for this. And I'm so grateful for that because I feel like there's so much power in stories, and I just really enjoyed that. Yeah, so anyways, first of all, something that I took away was kind of my familial values. I was like reunited with those because in Latino culture, we were taught like growing up that family is the most important thing. And not to say that like other cultures don't like place an importance on family. It's just that I feel like Latinos especially, like it's really big for us to have that focus and just to instill in our children that like family, to know that family is the only people in the world that will like always have your back no matter what, and they'll always care for you. And I feel like in the United States we kind of just lose sight of that sometimes because you know, a lot of us like teenagers are focused on like having the most friends and the most followers and going out every weekend and all this, and which is fine. Like I like that too, but like that kind of made me lose sight of like the values that I grew up with as a child. And I think in Belize and in Guatemala I saw like and met a lot of teenagers who were really proud of their families, and they didn't like have shame about it, and they were focused on the regular teenage things that we're focused on too, but they had like a healthy balance of family and friends, and that was really nice to see that for me. You know, they spoke very highly of their families, and they were home on the weekends helping out, and they were really everyone was like with their siblings all the time, which was really cool. Like their siblings were like their best friends, and I like that, just because I feel like I was taught that. So yeah, I was kind of just reunited with that in Belize, and that was really nice. And I know everyone says this, but like getting out of my comfort zone, obviously you always get out of your comfort zone in immersion. But for example, like for me personally, I had to go in a cave, like, and those those kind of things are not usually like my thing. I'm not really into caves, and but we went in Belize. We went to this like cave in the middle of the rainforest, and we had to hike to get there for like 45 minutes, and we had to swim through rivers together, and that was honestly one of the most fun things I've ever done. Like I would never forget that, and I feel like it brought me closer to everyone too. Like also we went kayaking in like the pouring rain, and I was kind of like miserable during it. Like I was like, oh, this is gross, but afterwards, like when I think back on that, like I think that it was so fun. Like when I think back on like those type of memories, I'm always gonna remember like the laughs and the people I shared it with, and just how fun it was and how out of my comfort zone I was. Like I would never have done that on my own, which is what something that is really special to me about immersion itself. That it really does take you out of your comfort zone. And next, I kind of learned and like experienced being without a cell phone at times. Like when we didn't have service in Belize, we were like forced to make fun, and that's not something we usually face in the States because we always have service, or like most of the time. We usually pretty much always have service, and so I don't really have to deal with that a lot here. So I feel like that might go into being out of my comfort zone as well, but like I feel like I also enjoyed those like little parts of the immersion where we had to make fun and we had to play cards and things like that, and that was just really special to me. I feel like I also that helped me with the making friends part and learning more about the people who are in my immersion. And lastly, something that people kept asking me when I got back was like, oh, so like, are you really grateful for your life now that you've seen what people in Belize are going through or whatever? And I didn't really think about that before people started asking me that, just because people there aren't like, they're not like unhappy. I didn't, just because like sometimes they're like in poorer families, or like the areas that they're in are poverty stricken, which is sad, but like on the surface it's sad. But for them, like, somebody asked one of the people that we were talking to, like, do you ever wish that you like lived in the United States, or like had like more like updated communities and stuff, or like more modern? And they said no, like they don't really desire to have the things we have here, and I just don't feel like I'm like in a place to say that my kind of like lifestyle is better than theirs. So I don't know why like people were asking me, am I grateful for my life now? Like, if anything, I feel like I'm kind of jealous. Like, they're so happy there. Like, I didn't really meet anyone that wasn't just like genuinely happy and really loved their life, and they loved being in the outdoors all the time and working hard, and just living the life that they were like raised to live. And I don't really think there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, that was my last thing. So thanks for watching. That was what I got out of immersion.